Some people are asking for PvP and PvE only servers. We're going to look at some of the arguments for and against it and how New World could fix this problem. We're going to start with the PvP arguments. PvP players are complaining about how there's not enough people flagged for them to consistently be doing open world PvP. They also bring up a lot about how the game is PvP based. When the game first released, it was strictly about PvP and had barely any PvE content. But then people complained how they wanted PvE content, so they changed the whole outcome of the game. They also say how there's not enough PvP content for them outside the large battles, and if the people aren't flagged and the large battles aren't enough for them, then they have nothing else to go to. These are all valid arguments, and PvP players are always itching for the next fight, and if they can only keep fighting that one person that they either keep killing or keep getting killed by, then they aren't getting enough to satisfy that want for more PvP. Moving over to the PvE arguments, some people just don't want to be ganked constantly while they're out in the open world. Whether they're collecting resources or questing, they don't want to be in a fight. It seems these PvE people are either 100% against PvP, so that they never want to be connected to PvP, or they're fine with being 50-50 and flagging if they want to do some PvP. The real problem for these PvE players, along with being ganked in the open world, is they're fine with 1v1s or even 1v2s occasionally, but when they run into those big groups of people that are ganking people in groups so that the one person doesn't stand a chance, they get a bad taste in their mouth and then they don't flag for PvP again. Before we head into the possible solutions that New World could use, let me know in the comments below, are you a PvP or a PvE only player, or are you fine with there just being a mix and how it was in the closed beta? Some of the solutions that people have come up with, and that I agree with some of them. The first is PvP only servers. The pros to PvP only servers are the PvP only players get what they want and the PvE only players get what they want. But what happens to those people in the middle? Yeah, you know what you're getting when you go into a server, but what if you want a fine mix? You either have to get one or the other. And with this PvP only servers, there comes the problem of when you separate the PvP and PvE players, there's a void in the game that needs to be there. There was a post in the Reddit New World page by Alan Greenspan, and he talked a lot about how this would be a problem for New World. He said, without PvPers in the bubble, the towns don't change hands. There's nobody to challenge a big clan on US East PVX server that has owned the whole map because they're all on US East PvP server, killing each other over and over and not crafting or doing quests, and just deathmatching in the forest, stabbing each other every chance they get. He brought up a good point talking about how if there's PvP and PvE only servers, the mix that comes with what the game is made of, PvE and PvP content, will be lost because one server will only be PvE content and one server will only be PvP content. And that's a lot of the game that's missing. And I could see the issue of one faction owning a whole map practically being a big issue if there's PvP or PvE only servers. PvE players won't take them over, and PvP players probably won't have the power to take it over. Another possible solution is PvP only zones. This would give PvP players a place on the map that they could be active full time. And if it's a place on the map that gives PvE players special resources, they could possibly go there and either just run away the whole time or start getting into PvP more. But if the PvE players don't want to PvP at all, then they won't have access to this zone, and then they'll start getting mad because there's a whole part of the map that they can't enjoy. A stem off of this that could also work for the PvP only zones is having different PvP rules for each zone. You wouldn't want every zone to mark you PvP automatically, because if it was the starting zones, the new players wouldn't be able to get out of their starting zones very easily. They'd be level capped at a low level. But maybe making the higher level zones and PvP specific rules, that could lead to, but maybe making the higher level zones have different PvP rules compared to the lower level zones so that they're more dangerous and that people get more or less advantages for going into them. That could be a good solution. The last solution that I'm going to talk about is adding more PvP objectives. So this is outside of the fort, the big battles, and the open world PvP. This is going to be more like adding like a capture a certain area, like a flag cut type of zone, where you get benefits for each flag that you capture, and only PvP players get that benefit. Again, on the Reddit New World page, a user by the name of It's My Second Day gave a good description of how he would set up those control points on every map and what the rewards would be like. I'll leave it on the screen, but I'll just touch over a little bit of it. He stated it as, on every zone add control points, a flag capture zone defending by some elite guards from the controlling faction, just weak enough to solo with some difficulty. He also said what he would put as the rewards that each flagged PvP player would receive. It started with 10% increased XP, 10% yields, 10% gold, 10% gathering speed, 10% faction points, and a percentage to gain Azoth on kills. This would be a lot of benefits for just doing one activity, so it would definitely need some balancing, but these could be possible rewards. But giving these PvP players a way to get those extra bonuses will cause a little conflict for the PvE players, since they will want equal rewards or a way to get those rewards through PvE actions. I think it's important to keep that balance of PvE and PvP on every server. The game was made to have small elements of both to make it have a certain combination that helps the game flow. It is important to take the players' thoughts into mind, but I don't think a large majority of players are 100% PvP focused. I think everyone can find enjoyment in some of the PvE and PvP elements. If I had to pick one or two of these that I would institute, I would say either make some zones have different flagging rules for PvP. I'm not saying automatically, but I'm saying into like a certain smaller area inside of the zone, or the PvP extra elements like the capturing of the flag that I talked about as the last solution. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and tell me in the comments how you would fix the problem.